Alright, it's too bad last year I was not vlogging or creating videos, so I didn't cover this project, but this is a beautiful craftsman style home. Just great. It has a few odd situations, but overall it's gorgeous. It's had a few weird renovations over the years. I mean to say, this was an open porch that was enclosed, and some of these choices here are not terribly ugly, but there's a little 90s situation with that, maybe. But overall, sometimes when I show this project just in the backyard, it's hard to imagine how it fits in with the other styles of the house. But you've got, these are faux, I don't know, I guess you'd call them corbels in this regard, because the rafters run this way, obviously, with the pitch of the roof. But it has the same sort of decorative rafter ends in the gable as it has at the eaves, which is a cool little detail. And a local guy did all the painting on this house recently too, and the colors just tie it all together. But we did this deck. I just pulled in today because they stained it. We gave it a year to dry out, but there was nothing back here. They have this beautiful backyard with these birch trees, and my shitty truck is in the way here, but they've got this cool vintage garage outbuilding and this long lot that goes back and stuff like that. But they didn't have any way to enjoy. They got this fence, and this is we'll cover this again when they get plants and stuff in here, but she does hanging baskets all throughout here, and we built in flower boxes, and they're going to get something trained onto the pergola, and they have planters and stuff that are out of the way that really tie this all in here. But I didn't want to necessarily have that stuff in the way of the construction aspect of it for this video. So they just finished staining. I think it came out really good. But this is a freestanding deck, all on 6x6. Some of them were left long for the sake of the guard, handrail, pergolas, but the rest of them were all flush cut below the deck here as footings and stuff. But so we did a very careful layout, and all along the home, I'll show you over here, they're all freestanding. What I mean to say is I like to avoid putting a ledger and attaching a ledger to the building and making a gap tight to the structure that can trap bric-a-brac that kind of rots along. So there's a series of posts. This one obviously was left long for the pergola, but there's a series of posts that go down the sidewall of the home. So there's actually 2 inches between framing and the brick facade, and 1 inch between the last deck board. So and my sunglasses are on the ground. Okay. We cantilevered the stair system. This is kind of an indication of that. There's attachment, you can't see it here, we'll look right underneath here, but we got attachment to the post itself on the left over here, and then we have blocking. We strapped across the top between joists and blocked down, and then ran out to the extent of the farther step here and box that all out. Let me back this off, this zoom. Box that all out as a floor box system, and this is a really tiny thin floor box system with little floor joists in it, once again, and that allowed us to go with one solid 20-foot pair of deck boards for this real clean wedding cake stair, which is like super robust. I don't want to leave marks. I don't know how fresh this is. It doesn't seem like it looks like it's all dry. So, but it's extremely robust. However, there weren't any additional posts necessary. Our elevation here doesn't call for guard, and they have little kids and everything, and they wanted a lot of approach. We have for grandma and grandpa, or whomever feels that that's necessary or wants, we have a handrail available here in this area, and we are going to add to kind of tie in this look. It's a super clean cantilever kind of thing. We're going to tie another one in over there, so if you approach from the backyard in that direction, headed this way, you can use the handrail there. So we provide for that if we can. A little bit of guard here, and then we tied it in with these freestanding sections that tie in the pergola system. But what we wanted was an open free space that was arts and crafts style with the rest of the home, so that's how we did the guard here and here as well. Simple mission or arts and crafts style to these. That's rough sawn larch, as well as all of the pergola rafters and little purlin ties, and the other framing and stuff up there is all rough sawn larch, which is an excellent outdoor softwood. And the rest of these are going to be ordinary PT pressure treat deck boards. That's a solid, I think 2x6. Yeah, 2x6 strap for the for the fencing here, or the privacy fencing here, and these are deck boards as well. So overall, real robust. There's no translation of movement and activity up here. A little bit of vibration if you stomp, to be expected. But you'll also notice that I lined up our seams. So you get, it's the same repeating brick pattern here, or running bond, whatever you want to call that. But there's 1, 2 seams, 3, 4, and that makes it easy in the spring or periodically to chase with the shop air and just clean those butt end joints out and stuff like that. It makes, I think, for another arts and crafts sort of note or style cue to have them all lined up like that. Whatnot, we can debate that in the comment section if you want to, although I win and you lose. So it was my choice. It's like Lincoln Logs, or or it's your choice when you do this. It's we had this system going across on both sides. That one ran long to go out to that post there. But then we have this bearing system going across again, and then you could stack again if you want. It gets to a point where it's a bit bizarre. I felt that one carrying beam system like this one, and then to do rafters this way. Of course, it does change the direction of the rafters 90 degrees each time that you do it as well. So however, where you start and how you stack back and forth log cabin style impacts the direction of the rafter, and also the complexity of the final look. So this was a nice compromise here. We got them going in the direction that we wanted, because this is the lee side. This will always be kind of shadow. Here we are in June, midday, maybe July, you get a foot or two or something here. I'm not absolutely sure, but most of this stands in shade. So instead of having the tall rafter dimension this way, kind of blocking out shade to here, we knew that this is always shade. There's plenty there, so we could go for some dapple light here, which justified our rafter orientation and forced on down to where we began our bearing post and carrying beam systems and stuff like that. So long story short, you want to discuss and strategize what you do here. But then we put some other cues in here. We got some other little vertical systems in, although this does, I believe, provide for Mama Robin. She was in there, which was kind of cool. We had it wired. We had the home wired up here with some outside electrical service, and brought it over here so you can turn it on and off. But they get big long plastic window box inserts go in there, and they go in there and in there, and we may complement some like fit to step profile planter boxes someday. We thought about having a swing here system on this. We may put some hanging basket hooks out on there. Like I said, we're going to add a handrail, but they're pleased, I think. I'm super pleased. This looks great with the color on it. We went around the door. This is a point of interest here. This is a situation where it isn't installed correctly. Their in-swinging door was sent to the outside of the building, so you notice here's where the latch engages, but you can see the little shadow line all the way across that extension jamb. It should have been done the other way around. So whoever did this door, it looks like it was, here's your like header capstone or whatever you want to call that. The doors were up there. All the windows are hung from that elevation. The door was an overheight door back in the day, and before my friends bought the home, somebody in the 90s did these like golden caned 90s window doors that are regular height. So anyway, long story short, again, we kept the original storm door and that door, but we went up and finished around it with some PT that ties that look back in as much as we can to the style here until it's time to, because the thing is, this door matches this door, so it's like if you want to do that one, then you're going to do that one too, and it just, the price kind of goes compounds. So, and this is a little system here that I did to replace their initial step. Cope to fit this existing. This had a weird masonry situation here that was breaking up stuff too, so this was quick enough to throw together. For now, it can get stained in with the porch, and that was a little additional thing that we threw together there. But we did a little cutting in the asphalt, and then did our drilling and sent our posts in, and then put some quick patch in on top, which is just coming in really nicely. Here's the last little indications of our layout. Chalk paint or whatever. Unfortunately, here we had planned this deck on being a little bit longer, but we ran into crowding with the downspout and the meter here, electricity meter, so we moved it over a touch. But it was after we had cut our holes in the asphalt to do the drilling. So that was all right. We still did our drilling in that asphalt pocket and put our post in, but we sent it to the far side from me, which had everything else play out here and not quite cover our penetration. So we could use a little quick patch. I think when we come down to add the handrail, we'll quick patch these little crevices and stuff too, and see if we can't get that to disappear. We're not about fronting and putting on airs here, so I'll point out a little mistake. I had intended to have the complete construction to clips any disruption here to the surface so that I looked ultra professional, but these are the little things that happen. But I think it's ultra professional just to fill that in here after the fact. But again, the cantilevered stair is coped to the asphalt to fit that a little bit, but really if you blast that with shop air or a leaf blower, or you can drag a tool, a thin tool or brush through there at the end of the season to make sure there's no leaves or anything stuck under there. But another nice feature of this is it's clear beneath, so if you kick a ball under there, or there's no attraction to animals to live under there because they can see. You can get down here and see underneath all the way along, do any kind of service that you need to do, what have you. So I'm proud of this, and it's too bad we didn't cover it with a video, but overall I think it really tied the house to the backyard. We'll come back and look at it when there's plants and they're beautiful. I think it's Ipe or teak. Dinette is out here, and Adirondack chairs that match, and she really does a beautiful job of dressing this thing up. So we'll come back and check that out in a week or two and see how it looks for summer 2019. We'll see ya.